It's not the only appendage that I can hang things on, trust me.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you all for coming.
No problem.
Well, go, shut up. My dad, Norman Large, would be very pleased, very happy with the turnout. Thank you. As everyone here will know, Dad, he didn't do fuss, he didn't do religion, he didn't want any kind of service. All he wanted was a gathering of friends and family here at the cricket club, and for everyone to have a drink on him. So enjoy.
Norman! Norman! Well done, Norman.
Now, a few years ago, Dad said to me that when his time comes to pass over to the other side, he wanted somebody to give a bit of a rundown on his life. So, here goes. I have my gorgeous daughter Melissa here, ready to help me out lest I should fall apart whilst trying to get through this.
Doing well, man.
Melissa, she's an absolute angel. She's a tower of strength. I really can't thank you enough, really. Now, she's hurting as well. She was really, really close to her granddad and she's suffering too. But always remember that granddad will always be there. He will be there. He'll be watching you. He's watching you now. He'll be there, looking out for you, guiding you, protecting you. Trust me, he will be there. He's watching over all of us. There's someone else I'd like to give a big thank you to, and that's John, Melissa's wonderful boyfriend. Thank you. He's been a real huge support. Huge support. Give us a bow. Come on, stand up. He's great. Seriously, these guys, I really don't know where I'd be without you two. Yeah, well, all my kids, but especially these two special, they really helped me. True godsend, really. Dad had a very productive life. He achieved a great deal, and I'm very proud of him. He was a wonderful man and father, very loving, caring and supportive, very shrewd and intelligent, a great role model and witty with it. We all love him and miss him. I, for one, am lost without him. Okay. Dad's parents were Maud and Harold Large. His wife, my mum, was Gwen. Dad also has a son, my brother, Malcolm. Dad's siblings were Jim, Alan, Brenda, Mike and Jeff. Mike is the only one still alive. Dad has 4 grandchildren, Andy, Shelley, Jay and Melly. And he's got 2 great-grandchildren, Riley and Brodie. Dad was born on 20th July 1933. He went to St Joseph's Catholic Primary School, Colwyn Bay. At age 11, he went to Central School, Colwyn Bay. Aged 12, he moved to Hastings, where he attended St Mary's Catholic School and Priory Road Boys' School. Aged 13, he moved back to Colwyn Bay. He went to Central School in the mornings and helped his father in the building trade in the afternoons. At age 15 to 20 years, he worked with his family in the building trade, doing brickwork, plastering and joinery. At age 20, he was conscripted into the RAF, Wattisham, near Ipswich, Suffolk. And he says it was the best thing that ever happened to him. He trained as an airframe mechanic and, taking full advantage of their education system, reached the grand accomplishment of senior aircraftman. That was his passport to de Havilland's. At this time, his father died after falling from the Cons Club roof. At age 22, Dad was a machine setter operator at de Havilland's in Hatfield, Hertfordshire. In the evenings, he studied mechanical engineering at Welwyn Garden Technical College. At this time, he was engaged to a lady named Judy, but when she was asked to choose between Dad and a motorbike, she chose the bike. So, as you do. So Dad made a decision to join his brothers who had emigrated to New Jersey, USA. He then met my mum at a dance on the pier in Colwyn Bay, and they dated for 3 months. By now, Dad was 24 years old. He went to live in New Jersey as planned and helped his brothers in the building trade for a couple of years. Throughout this time, he was writing to my mum and eventually returned to Colwyn Bay to marry her. Mum's middle name was Charter, as she was known as the Charter Baby, because she was the first baby born after the date Colwyn Bay received its borough charter in 1934. Mum was born on 22nd September 1934. They then moved to New Jersey. Dad joined Otis Elevator and worked as an engineer. By this time, Malcolm was born on 5th July 1960, and I arrived on 18th November 1961. Dad was promoted several times during his career at Otis. Aged 29, Dad brought us all back to the UK and we went to live in Fillinge, near Wigan in Lancashire. Dad worked at Otis in Kirby, Liverpool for 8 years. During this time, he played a lot of bridge for the South West Lancs League, and he was also a keen chess player. He also managed to build a 28-foot sailing boat out of fiberglass. He named her Kaisa. The boat took around 5 years to build, as it was all done after long days at work, as he used to do a lot of overtime. Around this time, he also managed to build an extension to the back of our bungalow. When he was aged 37, he brought us all back to Colwyn Bay. He started a reclaimed timber business at the old station yard with help from Malcolm and Mum. During this time, Dad built our house at 21 Clanroos Road at the Colwyn Bay. All the family helped labour for him. It took 3 years to build. Again, all done in Dad's spare time. For relaxation, he enjoyed playing snooker. He played in the league and was captain of the Conservative Snooker Club. We all enjoyed many family days out and camping holidays. There was a time when we go almost every weekend during the summer months. Dad bought a mini-sail and a dinghy, and we'd have lots of fun, messing about in the sea or playing cricket on the beach. Most of the time we'd be accompanied by other families, my Auntie Marge and Uncle Em, and my cousins and close family friends. My dad was also a keen bowler, and he and Mum also enjoyed nights out at the Raft Club, which later became the Wings Club. Station Yard was demolished to make way for the A55, and that meant the end of Dad's Station Yard timber business. He then bought a mini supermarket on Park Road, but after a year he sold that and did some freelance drafting. At this time we moved house to Mulderth Road in Roselsea. Prior to this, Dad did a lot of renovations on the house. He then went into partnership with his brother Jim at Large Brothers Timber on the Mopdra Industrial Estate. They ran the business for 7 years with help from my ex-hubby Gavin. Mum and I also helped out occasionally in the office. Dad retired aged 62. Prior to this, he sold the business to Haydocks, but continued managing it for 3 years. Mum passed away when she was aged 62. Around this time, Dad was still a keen bridge player, and he was instructing here at the cricket club. He was also house chairman at the cricket club, and he was captain of the Legion Bowling Club. Another of his passions was gliding. He earned various certificates and was able to fly solo. And that, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, children, whoever you are, is a swift summary of Dad's wonderful and admirable achievements. He's now with Mum, and God bless them both. And thank you all for coming, thank you for listening, and let's continue to celebrate Dad's life. Thanks also to Stuart over there, who's recording right now. Our wonderful DJ, Stuart, for the night. Marvellous job, thank you Stuart. Anybody else like to say anything at all? Anybody?
You did a great job there yourself.
Yeah, well done, Sharon. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, will you give me a big hip hip hooray for Norman? So hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
It's not the only appendage that I can hang things on, trust me.
Still catching the fire, actually. You catch her shit from that shit.
like to say one thing, Sharon, if you don't mind. Is that okay?
Yes, indeed.
You do mind if I say it or not?
As long as it's nice.
No.
What's she going to come out with then?
In retrospect to Norman, he was a lovely gentleman, and I had known him for a few years, not as in depth as you had, obviously, but for the part that I lived there, and you put up with me, and my family, and my baby when he was born. And obviously you met my mother, and she was truly grateful to you for having us. Oh God, you're going to get me fucking going. No, if I hadn't come to live with you, Sharon, oh shit, I'm sorry. If I hadn't come to live with you, I would have ended up back in London and in God knows what. I left London the reason to start a new life because my friends weren't my friends, and obviously I moved to Wales and everything, started a new life and everything. I could have gone back to London, but Andy said, "You're coming in with us."
And
you know, and I ended up on your couch, and then eventually you found out that I was living there.
Yeah, I did.
You know, and lived there for a while, and then Martin ended up paying my debt in rent. But if it wasn't for you, Sharon, I would not have the life I have now.
Aww.
And I really appreciate that. I wouldn't have my children, I wouldn't have my family and friends. Hi, Melly. That I have now, and obviously met your father. He was a wonderful man. And yeah, he used to go on me about religion. What is that you're wearing around your neck? Well, to me, this means this. But do you know what that design means? Like the crucifix?
Oh,
It's like pagan, all this
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But Norman, this means this to me.
Yeah.
But, and he'd recite the Alice in Wonderland. Hello, Alice in Wonderland thing to me, which my daughter, Alice in Wonderland. But he was a lovely bloke, and
Thank you.
no, he is sorely missed.
Right, me and Grandad, you know, weren't that close, but fucking bailed me out so many times, you know.
They are memories.
Hey!
Hey guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
We're gonna do it together, yeah?
Grandad was the first person who ever taught me how to play chess. Now that is something
And you
like
was
for me.
right here, hold my
I
hand.
played chess and the first person who taught me was Grandad. And he always told me interesting stories. Like so many interesting stories. Oh, he'd talk about the Royal Air Force every time he came around, talking about his rock climbing days, everything. I'd be so interested. I'd be so intrigued by it, so I was like, what? Like, you've done so much of your life, and I'm just like, done jack shit. That's what I mean.
That's true.
I feel like I've done nothing compared to
I've done nothing.
They would say stuff like, when I was my seniors, I was doing this, I was doing that, and I'd be like,
Wow,
what?
you done this?
I just finished school, like, yeah, I was doing something, innit? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
So one thing when I did meet your granddad the other day, yeah, we talked about the army and it was the Royal Air Force. I know that because I talked about him with it, because I was going to go in at one point, but yeah. So I talked about him with him, and he told me a good few facts, and nearly got blown up if it weren't for him waiting that little, was it 30 seconds to 2? But yeah, all I can say about Norman was he was a really, really great guy, and you know, we love him for it.
Yeah, and you said that he's like your granddad as well.
He was like my granddad, apart from my actual granddad, but he was like my granddad from the time of knowing him.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to be a part of the family.
He liked you in the family, he really did. Yeah, he liked you.
I don't know what else to say.
Lauren! So the first time I met Norman was on Christmas Day. And I had a rather big belly with my daughter.
It wasn't pies. No.
It wasn't, I didn't know the pies.
It was not pies.
He was a very funny man, very charming. He was asking me all sorts of questions about the baby. Do you know what it is? So, nope.
Is it Catholic? If not,
he did ask me that. Is the baby Catholic? I don't know. It wasn't born. He asked to see my hand. So me being me, I showed him my right hand. He went, not that fucking hand, the other one. So I was like, yeah. He's like, no wedding ring. Me being me, I was like, that's small. Like, nope. I'm 21 with a baby on the way and I'm not married.
So he found that hilarious because I felt that small. So he thought it was a bloody hilarious joke. But the handful of times I met him, he was such a funny, charming guy. Although, again, he made me feel that small. He wished me and Kyle the best of luck, especially me having a baby on the way and having Kyle as my partner.
You need the luck.
Yeah, I've got 2 babies pretty much, as Norman knew. But he really was a wonderful man, and he thought the world of his daughter Sharon, as well as all his grandkids, and he never let a day go by where he didn't tell me about it. Also about his times in the army and all sorts.
Don't forget his little jokes.
Oh yeah, his jokes. The jokes I didn't quite understand because my brain's not fully developed and I had to laugh along really.
You still sort of got him?
Yeah, I got him a little bit, but I still had to laugh along. Like, yeah, I know what you're about. But no, he was an absolutely amazing guy. He was so proud of his family, such a family man, and I never heard him say one bad thing about his family. And as for you, Sharon, he spoke the world of you every time we spoke. Oh, you know my daughter Sharon. And then he'd pick you up, and I'm like, I know. He's carrying on, and I'm like, hold on, I lost what you're on about, carry on. But no, he was absolutely wonderful guy, and he's going to be terribly missed, but forever remembered. So until we meet again, Norman, love from all of us in this lovely place. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks very much, Norman.